Welcome to the step Personnel of Innover UK's CE Wizard. As you're still a free user, we've skipped one of the key steps in the CE Wizard, a step where we set up the structure for your factory production control system's documentation structure and download the most important file in your whole FPC system, the FPC manual. But don't worry, you can still complete this step even though we have skipped these things. If you want to get an idea of what you're missing, we've included a sample FPC manual in the step-by-step instructions that you can download for free. I recommend that you download the sample FPC manual, open it up and see how the FPC manual is designed, what kind of things we go over, and so on. So I guess that's enough about the generalities, but just remember, if you decide to purchase this CE Wizard, you'll be able to set up your FPC system properly, download all the needed files, and ultimately CE mark your products. After completing all the tasks in this step, you will meet the requirements that deal with controlling your company's personnel. In short, the standard requires that all responsibilities, authority, and the relationship between your employees have been defined. And then you must make sure that your employees have the appropriate qualifications to perform their work. Now, to meet these requirements and to develop the necessary proof, this will require a few simple procedures and the following FPC documents: the FPC Manual, Personnel Qualifications and Organization, Personnel Qualification Requirements, Internal Training, and the Training Document. Now go ahead and download all the files made available to you from the right sidebar. There are no optional documents in this step. Store the files in the appropriate folders that we set up during the previous step. But before we proceed, I want to say a few words about each file that you just downloaded. The Personnel Qualification and Organization file is used, among other things, to define responsibilities in your company and to record your employees' job-related qualifications. After the FPC manual, this is the most important file when it comes to controlling your personnel. Personnel Qualification Requirements is used to define minimum task-related qualification requirements. Internal training is used to record the one-on-one trainings that you might organize to your employees if you notice that their qualifications do not meet the minimum qualification requirements. The training document is used to record internal trainings that are organized for groups bigger than just one employee. Before opening the FPC manual and starting to modify this FPC system to suit your needs, I want to mention that we have included another training video in this particular step. This video is very important, as we'll answer such questions as how you must use the FPC documentation in your company during and after having completed the CE Wizard. So please see that one before moving forward. Now that we know what the FPC documents will be used for, open your FPC manual and navigate to the section Introduction. In this section, when it comes to your personnel, you name the employee who will be responsible for your FPC system and the CE markings. If you have several locations, you can name a different responsible person for each location. The next stop in the FPC manual is the section where we discuss about the human resources. Here we've included how you should control your company's human resources so that you meet the Harmonized standards requirements. First of all, we mentioned that you have a personnel listing where we will record your employees and their job-related qualifications. We will use the same document also to define responsibilities and authority in your organization with a responsibility matrix. But before we start to familiarize ourselves with this important document, I want you to fill out the organization chart in the FPC manual that we use to define relationships between your employees. There isn't really any proper way to do this, but a good way is to place the name of the employee in the box who's in charge of the specific function. If you want to, you can always add more boxes both horizontally and vertically. After you're done, proceed to the two following subsections: Qualification Requirements and Verification of Employees' Qualifications. It's important that you understand the content of these subsections, as the standard requires you to make sure that your employees are qualified. Technically, to make sure your employees are qualified, you must do two things. First of all, you must have defined the minimum qualification requirements for key tasks. Then, you must make sure that the employee's qualifications meet the qualification requirements. but we'll get back to this a bit later in the training video. Now you can save the changes done to the FPC manual and close it. Next, navigate to the file we previously downloaded called Personnel Qualifications and Organization. This document has a few important tables in it. First, the table for employees' responsibilities and authority. Second, the table for employees' qualifications and experience. The table Responsibilities and Authority is used to assign employees' responsibilities and authority in your company. Now assign the tasks listed in the table to someone. Please note that we have listed some common responsibilities here, so you can naturally add or remove the responsibilities as you best see fit. In addition, you don't need to list each and every employee here, just the ones who have the ultimate responsibility of the given task or are partly responsible for it. Also include one or more assistants for each task. If you don't know who the party responsible employee is, think of it like this. If the responsible person is on vacation, who will be the one covering for them? Please note that being responsible or partly responsible does not translate that he or she must personally perform the task. Being responsible just means that they are responsible that the given task is performed, and that's it. The table for Own Staff is used to list your employees and record their experience and qualifications. Now list each and every employee who participates in one way or another in the order to delivery process. For the qualification column, you can list the key tasks the employee is qualified to do and any other qualifications you might see fit. For example, if the employee has gone through first aid or fire safety training, you can leave a mention of this on the qualification column. It's important that you always keep this table up to date, as you are required to compare these qualifications with the qualification requirements. Now we're almost finished with setting up the FPC system's processes and documents to control your personnel. The last thing you must do is double check and verify that your employees are qualified. Please note that with this Harmonized standard, there are mandatory minimum qualification requirements for certain key tasks. We've listed all standard mandated minimum qualifications in the document Personnel Qualification Requirements. As these requirements come directly from the standard, do not alter them, but if you want to, you're free to add more tasks here and then define the qualification requirements for them. Now, just compare your employees' qualifications that you listed in the table Own Staff with the minimum qualification requirements in the document Personnel Qualification Requirements. If everything is okay, then you're all set. Your employees are now considered by the standard to be qualified for their work. But if, on the other hand, your employees are lacking qualifications, you have a small problem that must be addressed before you can CE mark your products. In this case, find out how your employees can receive the appropriate qualifications and then proceed to acquire them. Just remember that once your employees have been trained, record the trainings and update the table Own Staff. For internal trainings, you can use the pre-made FPC documents called Internal Training and Training Document to record the trainings and participants. After training, remember to save these documents as proof. Now we're done with the standards requirements for personnel. What we've done is defined all responsibilities, authority, and the relationship between your employees, and then tackled the issue of how you can make sure that your employees have the appropriate qualifications to perform their work. Just remember to keep these files up to date, and then you're good to go. Before you can CE mark your products, there are still quite a few more steps, but they are more or less like this one. As a free user, you cannot continue this CE wizard any further. But I really hope that you consider purchasing the full version, and after that, you'll gain access to all the steps, documents, and training videos. I hope to see you in the next step, documentation.